Last week, Lewis and Clark County Sheriff Leo Dutton traveled to Glasgow, where he presided over a coroner's inquest in a 2022 death. It's a situation that only became possible because of a law change passed during last year's Montana legislative session.
Now, a coroner's inquest is not to find guilt or anything like that. It is to determine who the person was. Did the person die of criminal means?
Prior to 2023, a coroner who is also a law enforcement officer couldn't conduct an inquest when someone died in custody or was killed by an officer. But in recent years, more and more counties have combined their sheriff and coroner's offices, and it's become harder to find civilian coroners. It left around 15 people to handle all of these inquests in every part of the state. Last year, the legislature passed Senate Bill 68, which allowed sheriff-coroners from other counties to preside over these inquests. It's not the coroners themselves making a ruling. A jury is assembled to render a verdict. Dutton says his responsibilities mostly consisted of giving jurors their instructions.
The jury makes a decision. Again, this is not to find innocent or guilty. And the county attorney's office is the one who presents evidence. The jurors get to question any witnesses as such, and they make their own independent decision.
Dutton says, as far as he can tell, this was the first time a sheriff-coroner was called in for an inquest under the new law. The case dealt with the death of Dennis Wing. Valley County Sheriff Tom Boyer told MTN it appeared Wing had ingested drugs while being detained by officers. After being released, he went to the hospital for treatment, where he later died. Boyer said though Wing wasn't in custody at the time, he felt it was important to have an independent investigation. After a brief deliberation, the jury found there was no criminal action that led to Wing's death. Dutton says he understands some people may have concerns about an appearance of bias if a law enforcement officer oversees a case involving other officers, but he believes there's no reason the process can't be fair.
Initially, there was a concern about a sense of impropriety that one law enforcement agency would cover for another. But I can assure you that as coroners or sheriffs, we do not do that.
The verdict from a coroner's jury doesn't have to be unanimous, but in this case, Dutton said all the jurors were in agreement. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.